even played a competitive game since Spring Split. He is not playing in LDL currently. He is just a sub on the RNG roster. He's only been back with RNG for not even 2 months yet. And, you know, game 1 he was able to perform. But maybe try and punish that pressure point again. Try and aim for some bot lane 2v2 dominance where you would assume Votic and Joa should still be favored over LP and Lilla.
You would assume he's on LGD, but
No.
NIP is I said it and I was like
actually on RA now, but you know,
actually yes. Oh my god, he was on LGD and then now he's on RA. Shows you how many RA series I did this year. But NIP, they recognized something. I was just about to say there was no Rumble ban this time around, and there's also no Nocturne ban coming out from RNG, so we might just have Rumble, Nocturne, or maybe they pick it themselves. They want to try and get it off the board. I don't think they can.
I'm surprised, because, I mean, right, one of the things about Rumble, like, is it mobile, is going to be pushing up in that top side. It's really all you do with the Flame Spitter. So, get way on the Nocturne. And now, funnily enough, by NIP going for this, they've actually welcomed and invited RNG to play around this top side. So, I wonder what RNG will pick into it. I don't feel like we've seen any good answers into the Rumble. Funnily enough, Invincible and Solo Q has been playing Swain into Rumble. I don't know what answers Breathe has into it, because I haven't really seen Breathe playing anything all too out of the ordinary in his solo queue games. But I like that NIP. Once again, get your hands on the rail. Also, bring out the Xayah this time around. Having that ult to try to counteract a lot of the engage that you know RNG are going to be drafting around this Nocturne.
Curious to see how they kind of want to what they want to try and take here before we go into the second ban phase. And yeah, I was going to say get something to Breathe straight away. Just say, look, yep, we're going to take hits on the bot side. We know we're going to take hits on the bot side. Let's just make sure Breathe has his Cassante. We can't let it go this far back. But will it do just as well into the Rumble as it did into the Poppy? We'll have to wait and see how it all ends up kind of fanning out. Now RNG can start putting some bans into mid lane, making sure that the Tangyuan Nico has some decent time in it. They're going to try to take away things like the Azir. I wouldn't even mind seeing taken away the Ahri, to be perfectly honest. Just try and make sure that you don't have that kind of mobility to make sure that Tangyuan has the best of times with this pretty OP pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Already banning out and taking away some of the other things he's comfortable on. I think Ahri definitely a good shout of what has looked like his other comfort pick so far this split. And I mean, beyond that, I don't even know like what high tier meta champion is left open for mid lane if they end up taking that one away, right? I guess Annie has been banned, but I think theoretically still fine, still pickable. You can bring it out if you did want to like try and combo with your jungle, but there it is. That one actually is going to be taken away. So really only the Ahri being left on the table now for NIP with where they want to go for their second kind of ban out towards that bot lane. If you're worried about engage, I was going to say Alistar, Nautilus, you know the names of the game. So now might leave RNG kind of opting towards that Nautilus pick. But I wonder if they like have to go back to LP's Aphelios. No.
The Zeri. Oh. Wow.
I don't even know the last time we've seen this.
I'm not quite sure myself, but Zeri has been kneecapped, to say the least, in the most recent of patches. Was way too strong for way too long of a time, but definitely looking to try and get that big all-in. I mean, look, it's a short-range AD carry. It can make itself very known in a team fight by pushing in, getting the lightning crash down, but RNG very comfortable to try and say, look, we need to go for something that has a little bit more all-in. I mean, they're going all in right now. If they go with this Leona right now, it is going to be 5v5s galore between these two teams.
Yeah, it really is. And right, I feel like we have some different distinctions coming through, but I'm most curious to see just how this really works. Because I mean, you said it, she's been hit over and over and over again. 13-12, things like losing the ability where you steal shields, right? And your Q burst fire no longer activating Sheen. Just so many things coming through, and that even goes further, right? Because Zeri had been taking consistent hits on patches even when she was still in the meta. So LP at least going to move on to another thing that he knows how to play. We were highlighting this meta hasn't really been meant for him, but now you have this like strong kind of engaged top side coming out from RNG. Lola, of course, can join in on that. LP going to have some wiggle room to play for himself with the mobility that Zeri brings. But then for NIP, having some strong mid-game aggression able to come through. The second we hit level 6 and you have like Magnet Storm, Equalizer, the Spirit Rush coming through, they're just going to be able to try and run you down
I mean, that's the thing. They're just trying to keep on top of you, go for, try to take these skirmishes, odd numbered, even numbered, it doesn't matter. They want it all. They just want to fight post level 6. All they want is to try and constantly keep the pressure down. And we'll see how it ends up working. Again, 2-1 at the moment for NIP. RNG need a win to continue their season, to continue their story within the LPL, and honestly within 2023. NIP were building on that momentum from game 1 and 2, have been stopped abruptly. But let's see if it was just a bump in the road or if it was in fact a wall they hit into. You do not want to be going into that game number 5 after losing 2 games in a row. It does not feel like it would be good for your momentum. We'll see what either of these teams can do. And for NIP, they had most of the control in game number 1 and 2. RNG wrangled some back with emergency substitution, but right now it is, again, screw all the different narratives, screw everything else. It is down to this game. You have to blow up the enemy's nexus. That's all that matters.
Yeah, for RNG, like we said, this is their first playoffs without Ming since 2016 summer, since when Mata was the support of RNG. They have to make it work. They brought 1 game back, but they need to be able to string 2 together. I mean, hell, RNG need to be able to 3-0 here to keep their hopes of worlds alive.
We'll jump in onto the Rift and see how it all pans out. Neither of these teams wants to let anything go, but someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. That's just how League of Legends works.
It's going to be, I think, really interesting to kind of see how things progress for either team that moves forward, just because of, like we said, neither team in a great place in regards to championship points. NIP didn't make playoffs in spring. RNG only made it to round 2, which only netted them 10. So it feels like either one of these teams will not only have to win here, but also probably make it past Weibo to get them to a point to where, like, you're looking at, a regional bracket that they possibly could make it into, pending on other results.
That's the thing. This is only 1 step on a 12-step plan to potentially get to Worlds. I mean, look, obviously a lot of teams will say, oh, no, we're looking at trying to maybe get the world, the LPL championship. That's the goal. But let's call a spade a spade. It's BLG or JDG. And even then, I still favor JDG over BLG just because of 6 series that they've won over them this year. But just to get to Worlds, you have to be able to try and build this kind of momentum. And we've seen it multiple times before. We've seen it so many times. I always think back to 2021 with WE and LNG, who did round 1 all the way to the regional gauntlet and were able to make it work. So it isn't impossible and it isn't unheard of. It's just very, very difficult.
I think WE is the best example. They might not have made Worlds that year, but that run they went on was magical. And it really shows that, again, a bit of time to prep. You really can't count any of these LPL teams out because most rosters do have stacked and tenured players. Right? You look at both sides. Way and Breathe for RNG. On NIP, you have people like Angel coming through. Shadow, even if he hasn't done anything in the LPL just yet, has always, I think, been an above-average jungler in the LPL, and obviously has made it to Worlds in the past with Mad Lions. People like Photic and Juan, like what they were able to do on V5 last year. So definitely, the talent is there. But now it's just about being able to materialize it. As I like early on, kind of speaking of Shadow, leaning around bot, kind of making sure if anyone oversteps that you're there to punish, because it feels like bot lane should still be a major focus, even though you have this Rumble in top side. And again, especially post 6 Machine, you're going to need to make sure he's protected, because the second that Paranoia comes out, Invincible's going to be living in hell. Yeah,
he is going to be paranoid at all times. It's a fun fact, my favorite ability name, because it really does embody everything about it. In the game, back when they used to actually name abilities properly, not just named Blade of the Ruined King as a Q for the Viego, which still annoys me. But I mean, obviously we see a lot of talk about this Rumble. We obviously see a lot of people saying, it needs to be banned, it's busted. Explain to me why. Why now has it become just such a powerful, in the eyes of the community, OP pick that so many people are able to do so much with?
I feel like Rumble, even before the changes, which, a lot of his changes kind of like added like max health kind of scaling into his kit. And again, stronger against some tanks and weaker against squishies. I feel like the meta just kind of naturally gravitated towards him, where we have like so much engaged, so much CC in the meta, tons of lockdown coming out, tanks in topside, which Rumble does so good against in lane. It was kind of like a matter of time before he was really noticed. And again, with those changes kind of pushing him to do better against some tank top laners, the fact that tanks really are stock and standard in that top side only makes him ever more viable. So I'm glad teams kind of caught up to it. Shanji's been doing it for a long time, even wasn't meta, and showing people that you can still absolutely roll kids with this pick. But look at Wei.
Looking to see if they can get on the Photic. Will he be able to get it? Ooh, Wei tried to predict the flash there with the Dustbringer. Does a decent job to get at least the summoners out of Photic. And this is the thing. What was a massive, like, gaping hole in the defense of RNG in games 1 and 2 has slowly been, brought up. And I don't want to say that Lele is, the fixer of all of their problems, but I do think that right now LP looks far more comfortable with this support than he did with Lu Mao.
Oh, he does. He does. Lola, like, it's crazy. Hasn't played in months. Comes in better form. Like, what a wild story. And again, a player who used to be on RNG but left, as they actually might be in for a bit of trouble right now. Photic just making it back to lane. Shadow, all of his cooldowns should be up. And LP, he's going to be left by himself.
He's going to be left by himself, but he does have himself a dash over the wall. He's still a Zeri.
I forgot what this champion was about.
It's been a while.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. He should be punished. He stayed, he pushed, his support's gone. They didn't have any junglers there. It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's still busted. I can't wait. Imagine this is the game. Imagine this is the game that reminds everybody. It's like, oh no, Zeri's pointless and useless. And then all of a sudden she pops off here and everyone goes, oh, wait a minute. And she just comes right back into the meta. That would be a little depressing, if I'm being totally honest. But we'll wait and see.
I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens. I think up against better bot lanes, like you pick this into like ruler and missing, you're gonna get absolutely bodied, right? As a Shadow, finds the steal, manages to get out scot-free.
Oh, it's clean. It's nasty, but it's clean. Oh my lord, that's gotta feel. But RNG just weren't expecting it.
Ooh, I love the clean nasty machine. I love the clean nasty coming out from Shadow. My God, look at that. And look, and I don't want to call it too early. NIP have won every game they've gotten first dragon, so I want to call it too early. Mark it in the books.
All right, guys, pack it up. We know the results. We just got to come in. But, I mean, that is just a really smart little thing to do there. And the reason why I say smart is because RNG kind of just went into autopilot. RNG just kind of went into, okay, you know what? It's fine. No one's really pushing for this. You know what? I'll spell shield the dragon to get some more attack speed. It's fine. We don't have anyone to worry about. And then just, pop, goes the Weasel. Get the Q down. Perfect smite. Literally perfect. Just outsmites Wei. Really well done there. And great to see Shadow just backing himself and saying, yeah, I'm going to get this.
Like you said, just RNG not expecting him to be willing to commit that much, I guess, for Drake, knowing that he'd have to flash back out of the pit if he did come in for it. But Shadow showing they value these early Drakes. And I think it makes sense when you look at NIP's comp. And we said, very strong mid-game spike. Actually incredibly strong, even like starting to come online right now. When you have things like the Equalizer, able to combo with that Magnet Storm. So if they can put RNG in a position where RNG would want to start fighting early, especially earlier than when a Zeri comes online, I think that's when NIP are feeling most confident in this game.
I think that's the big difference we're seeing now, is that confidence is such a huge factor in both of these sides. Being able to make things happen in your own terms, on your own tempo, just makes it so much more, engaging for both these teams. We'll say LP having himself up to level 6 now already. We should see Photic getting his very, very soon as well. But 6 is pretty much across the board, and we always put a big emphasis on it. You talked about it. There's Wei. Paranoia could be coming in now very, very shortly. Invincible. He knows that something's up. He knows they're holding it. Yeah, now he knows that Wei is there. So he's just going to back himself away, and he's not going to get fully committed onto this.
NIP, though, made their way up, doing a nice job to cover. Like you said, Invincible already having an idea that he's not going to be engaged on, but now, knowing for certain, we're going to see what kind of movement RNG want to make. I wonder how close Lola would be. Nope. Okay. So wondering if either support was close to getting that level 6 online, because that could be the difference maker, and there it is. Joao, first support to have his ultimate up. this might be the signal for NIP to want to fight this.
Let's see what they want to go for right now. Rift Herald, they have plenty of vision. Like, my God, like, you couldn't sneeze in this river without RNG knowing about it, but it's quickly being taken away. Do you have a Pop Blossom? No Solar Flare, like you mentioned here for RNG. The difference in the supports could be key. Shadow taking another chunk of health, as we saw in that little picture-in-picture. We wait to see what they want to go for. 80 carries are here. Mid lane will be confirmed by LP to try and make sure this crashes, so they're going to lose a little bit off that. But now, the 5v5. We talked about how both these teams wanted to go for it. They both wanted to try and make these fights happen. Lele goes in. They're going to drop down the ultimates on top of him, and First Blood goes over to the Ahri. No one really kind of fully committing to this one off of the Paranoia. They will trade back, though, support for a support. Can they go for anything else? That is the question. Shadow taking a fair bit of chunk damage on top of him. Still plenty available for both of these sides, ultimates-wise. And now the Pop Blossom comes in, but he got charmed almost immediately, so Tanguin can't make it work. Now you got Photic just free hitting on the backside of this one here. Wade goes down. Shadow still alive. And Breed looking for an exit strategy. We will see Photic going into a little bit of a 1v1 with LP, but everyone else is being chased back down. They will get the kill onto Breed. So many low health bars. LP wants to make this one work. Shadow, you are messing with fire, my son.
You gotta
the
back
crash down.
up.
The flash. Oh, LP gets it. And Angel confirms the kill. NIP eventually get 5 kills. They only trade back the 1, and they'll get the Rift Herald as well.
What is going on in this skirmish? NIP very greedy, trying to go for this Herald. You know, the greed ends up working out. They knew exactly how much they were able to get. They pick it up. They win the team fight. 2-0-2 on the Rumble, 3-0-2 on the Ahri, and those are the members to highlight starting off, right? NIP, we highlighted, it's a huge difference when your support has ultimate and the enemy doesn't. So the initial engage comes out. I like that he throws the ult onto Tanguin so he can't move farther forward. Does end up going down too, isn't able to flash away. Maybe could have survived had he committed that one. But you pointed out here, Sheen, Angel with the charm onto Tanguin, not allowing him to chase down the Xayah, but Photic, even with a well-timed ultimate himself, so Tanguin just gets whittled down, and then the damage going out on the opposite side of the fight coming out from Invincible and Shadow. Then it leaves Photic and LP in kind of this little bit of a 1v1, which LP is respectable right now. Gotta appreciate the damage coming out, and then I thought this was going to go a lot worse once the Leona came, and these NIP health bars are so fragile, but they somehow ended up making it work.
We're back. We got ourselves a couple of ultimates yet. No all out, no Paranoia. Paranoia on a couple of seconds away. The Dragon 2,500 HP. NIP want to keep the momentum. They want to keep the tempo going for themselves. Tanguin goes in. Solar Flare doesn't really land. A smite was bad. Pop Blossom is good. And that should be Shadow going down. It's a trade, though. Not yet. He hasn't died. A great hook down onto LP, who has nowhere to go, nowhere to be, except back to the fountain with him. Now we're seeing if we can get Wei and Tanguin out. It's a double kill for the Ahri as a Shadow does go down. Breed TP's in to try and make this play work. Invincible is a bystander in it all, and Breed wants this fight for himself. There will be Spirit Rushes available, so he should be able to get himself away, and RNG not dead yet.
No, RNG somehow able to make it work. Still, though, that fight going so incredibly back and forth. I can't believe we went from fight to fight right off the rip. I feel like it's huge that Invincible not able to be at that fight because he took Ignite. He wanted to play out aggressively through the laning phase. Breed able to join in with his TP, making it so RNG able to have a closer brawl. Ooh. Okay, where are you going to spot it?
2/3 of his HP. Yeah, but he just lost 2/3 of his HP, which isn't good.
And this, and these are the members that need to be performing, right? Because Angel now 5-0-2, but this Rumble still pretty big. But we're going to see here, Joel, of course, not able to connect the initial hook, which I think for NIP would have been massive. Chain that into a charm, and then both. But it's actually here where Tangle Barbs comes out onto the Rel, followed by, you know, the Pop Block, some also nice smite coming out from the Nocturne, but then the difference maker just being the fact that this TP going to end up coming out from Breathe in a second. 80 carry, sure, they're trading blows, but Wei, with that spell shield, able to buy a lot of time. Photic so far away after ending up winning that 1v1 against the enemy 80 carry, and we see Breathe able to get one back at the end of the day, but feels like the bigger thing definitely RNG equalizing out on the Dragons.
Yeah, stop that early momentum from going in the favor of NIP. In fairness, it should have been NIP 2 dragons up, to be perfectly honest. Bad smite coming out from Shadow. Rare bad smite, I will say. Now he's going to try and make up for it with a Magnet Storm to try and bring everybody in. The Pop Blossom only knocks off one, and that is the Nico dead to rights. Not going to be able to get anything else out of this one here. But again, this momentum, this pace that the NIP are going with, they're trying to make sure that RNG just can't place their feet.
No, and this is where NIP looks best. NIP looks best when they're keeping it scrappy, they're keeping it skirmishy, and that's where they were really finding a lot of value against RNG in Game 1. And Angel, now that he's huge, we've highlighted it, and we're going to keep highlighting it. Former team played for RNG in spring. It is seriously the best X revenge story there could be with how fragile it is. He was literally sharing time with Tangyuan.
Yeah.
And this man says it is the best day ever in his life when he beats his former team. We told that story earlier on. Said it happens years removed, which again, him beating Weibo isn't years removed, so I'm still questioning that part of it. But now, again, look at him in Invincible. They need to be the ones to step up to where for RNG now, I feel like you are banking a lot on LP getting pretty big on the Zeri. He has the static shiv now. Breathe as well, going to be able to front line quite a bit. But NIP have a lot of backline access. Angel with the Spirit Rush and Invincible with the Equalizer. You might just be able to layer that down right on top of LP and take him out of a fight before he gets to do anything.
And the big thing as well is the fact that Angel is 6-0-2, has so much agency with the fact that he's so far accelerated, you know, has the Everfrost already building towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, so he knows how strong he can be. It's going to be difficult to try and deal with this Ahri and, you know, already moving towards level 11 so quickly. It's definitely going to be something for the side of RNG to start thinking about. Speaking of thinking about, they're thinking about this dragon in a minute's time, or just over it now, as we do have first items pretty much completed across the board. Just the support's kind of waiting for it. Shadow crashing down over the wall. I've seen that one missed quite a few times, so glad to see he didn't lose on that particular one there. But Zhuo has got a stopwatch instead of what I would imagine would be his first item. And that could be a key difference maker here. We could see a lot of different ultimates being thrown in. If they can't kill people off quickly enough, RNG are going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, both Zhuo and Angel having stopwatches available to them means next time we do get a fight, like you're saying, it feels like NIP should be in an advantageous position. And with Herald coming up in 18 seconds, I think that's where NIP should be looking. You have Angel, who, with the Unsealed Spellbook that he picked up, you know, does have the TP up now. So if any fight breaks open on this top side, he'll very easily be able to join in. RNG, though, Breathe making his way around, and I kind of like their vision line, right? They have some defensive vision, but we can see now Breathe pushing for some more aggressive wards. The thing is, NIP control mid lane. They're pushing in this wave now. They control vision around mid, so it's going to make it incredibly hard for RNG to try to contest themselves and walk in, especially with Angel already TPing in.
Vision on this, though, for RNG. They know what's happening, so yeah, they're TPing bot with Eco. They're actually going to try and jump in here onto Wei, and he's getting taken down. They'll get a Rift Herald and an extra kill off the back of it, and this is RNG just being a little too slow, a little bit too lackadaisical with the way they're kind of approaching these areas that they have no right approaching.
Yeah, it makes even less sense when you consider the fact that Tangyuan just TP back down towards spot side. You know NIP are there his way, and you're just giving yourself an opening to be engaged on. NIP take advantage, and again, not a huge upset, but still crazy to think that NIP looking primed to 3-1 RNG. Not even a 1K gold lead, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but NIP just looks so confident and so in control.
That's the thing, is that it feels like NIP are the ones making the decisions. It feels like NIP are the ones having the advantages kind of given to them by the side of RNG, and now the mid lane turret will be confirmed. Again, just slow rotations from RNG. You're not only getting the turret in mid lane, but you're also going to get control around this dragon. Rumble's already roamed down, so you might be able to trade back that turret in tier 1 in top lane, but I mean, where's your vision control? Like, you just spent ages trying to gain this, and you now have nothing.
No, it's all looking incredibly rough. If they had an avenue to come through bot side, does I need to pause? Engage from Lola?
I mean, that's a very ambitious engage, especially with all the re-engage available to them. They will trade Brel for the Leona. The Pop Blossom comes down, the Paranoia to try and stop this Xayah from just putting down the feathers. It's a 2-for-1 at the moment. Breed trying to see if he can go all out onto Angel, but Photic has just been free hitting on the backside of this fight. We will see LP trying to do his best impression of it, though. Right now, the Nautilus has fallen. 2v4. These health bars are low. Photic trying to see if he can make this one work. The feathers will fly, and he should be able to confirm Tangyuan as a kill. Ends up being a 3-for-2 in favor of RNG. Photic's still very healthy if he wants to try and go for something, but without his flash and without his ult, he's not really feeling confident against a K'Sante.
No, and I think Photic is no right to feel confident against LP and Breathe right now. We're gonna see another dragon picked up for RNG, but I'm just surprised. I can't wait to get a replay for that fight because NIP, like we said, should have so much like threat onto LP, but none able to come out. Lula starting it off and finding a bit of CC coming out. Equalizer not even layered across the whole time. Really only gets onto Lula and the K'Sante. And then yeah, I mean, Bree just creating so much space. Angel flashes past, ends up getting ulted out. Just not a good look from him. The combo really should be Angel Spirit rushing towards the Zeri, and then Equalizer being layered out on top of her as well. We saw there, Angel the misplaying the team fight. The Rumble Equalizer really only caught the Leona and the K'Sante. It seems like trying to dissuade them from coming in rather than anything else, but it just gave so much room for Breathe to create space, and for LP to just constantly free hit in this team fight.
We come back into live. We have a pause. Hopefully we'll get an answer to you guys should we have any updates there, but does look like the Dragon was confirmed as well by the side of RNG. That's only their second one of the game. This game is not over yet. This is the thing. This is the kind of game that could dictate the shift in the meta, the shift in the momentum, really. It felt like NIP were the ones coming back into it, feeling a lot more confident, but maybe that overconfidence has kind of been a bit of their downfall in that last fight, like you highlighted. It felt like they just got a little bit too... honestly, it just looked like they forgot about the Zeri. Just didn't look at her, didn't really kind of throw anything at her. They were constantly looking to try to take out Breathe.
I don't know how much impact, like, the paranoia had in that fight. I mean, that fight had so many working pieces, but still, it felt like even before the paranoia, it felt like some abilities just thrown out haphazardly, and that NIP could have taken it a little bit slower, even if RNG were the ones engaging. But I don't know. We're going to see how they do bounce back once we get in, and I guess it just shows kind of fitting game 4 of Sheen that it really is just so back and forth. It can go either way. Oh, you always know what happens. You always know what happens when it pans in on the door. A good sign.
You know when they're going for the door, you're in good hands. The door is our friend here in the LPL. But again, NIP now down about 500 gold. We'll see Angel putting a little bit of pressure in this top side as they reset onto the map. And you can see LP there just putting in absolute work here on this Zeri and making it work at the time they needed it most. You know, RNG technically always need it the most, but considering they are 2-0, they were 2-0 down, but we'll see how it ends up going. Navori Quick Blades for LP. I'm curious to see where this build goes, because obviously we haven't seen Zeri in quite a long time, and definitely didn't expect to see her in 13-13. So curious to see where this build actually gets taken here by LP.
Yeah, I know a lot of times like people can will either still default on Bloodthirst or even make their way to Runons. So I would expect it to be one of those. You don't have like too tanky of a team to worry about. I guess Shadow is starting to get some items under his belt, so at some point, right, you'd probably still expect like potentially a Last Whisper into maybe a Lord Dom. So we'll see where LP does want to go with it. As now we are pretty much exactly even in terms of gold. And now that the Baron dance is kind of, I guess not really a Baron dance, right? But we need to worry about Baron. We should take stock of summoners, because for both sides, they are pretty much all down. Shadow and Invincible still have their flashes, but so does Breathe. So Breathe might be able to find a big impact play onto a carry.
I like that. Just going out Xenoblade, see if you can find somebody to get caught out with it. Doesn't get anything other than a Spirit Rush, but a Spirit Rush nonetheless. We'll see what Angel can do. I actually never noticed it, but we can say it. The Angel has himself the Summoner Spellbook, so he might be trying to do a little bit of shenanigans in that regard, as we see Invincible just trying to hold out on this top side. And yeah, I think that proc is going to be just enough there to kick down this turret. And Breed secures that for his team. And I mean, Invincible has got a lot of kills and has a lot of damage, but if he's not layering that Equalizer, the Equalizer is both an equalizer for him and his team, in the sense that if he doesn't hit it, they are in a deficit.
And he needs to like get it across the right members, right? Like when we saw in the last fight, it pretty much is landing on Lola and again prevented Breathe from going forward. You're not finding a whole ton of value coming out from one of your strong members. You know, Void Staff picked up 3, 1, and 2. He needs to be providing value, especially when he has been a member who, for NIP's job, has really just been absorb pressure, right? So it feels like this is Invincible's time to really make a mark on his first playoff appearance. I mean, he's been a sub for V5 for so long, like being subbed in and out, coming in for some games, so part of the split. This time, getting to be a starter, getting a chance. Already doing a lot to LP.
Ooh, LP's gonna walk straight into him though. Angel, the perfect point in time just to make sure he gets that kill. Let him know there's nowhere else to run either. And this could just be the Baron. You've lost your support and your AD carry. TP from Breed. He knows he has to come back for this fight.
And you still have, I mean, some decent tools for NIP, right? Photic still having that ult. He can peel for himself. You still have the Magnet Storm on Shadow if they end up coming in for an engage tool. So we're going to see how this one goes. Way, though.
Breed's burning.
Paranoia is there.
Breed's burning. Like, Breed was burning so much there. Oh, the flash away means the all-out puts him right into harm's way. He has the flash, but there's a Paranoia to try and stop them from moving in on top of their top laner. This is all falling apart here for RNG. Way can't get into the pit, and he's get caught out. Pop Blossom onto 3. It's good, but is it good enough? It's a 1-for-1 trade after everything is said and done, and Zhou with another fantastic hook. Shadow canters over the wall and says, hello, Nico. You will not be getting away with this one here. Photic trying to just be a little bit to the side there. They're going to burn him down with some Sunfire Cape damage. But again, Tangyuan doesn't really have a place to go, and maybe Zhuo will be the one to finish it all off. No, never mind. He gets absolutely yeeted out of that one.
I don't know why that animation was so pleasing. Just the angle of it. I didn't know you could be shot that far.
Can indeed, and RNG have been shot a million miles away from the possibility of winning this game right now as NIP. Baron, loads of kills. They're going to be able to reset, possibly take this dragon as well.
Yeah, and this one was, I mean, going and clearing vision all by himself. I guess Lola and Wei aren't too far away. What a great coordinated play. Yeah, Equalizer comes out, Joel flashing in to get the ulti straight into the charm from Angel. Things like that just so beautiful in LP. I mean, right, you have a lot of freedom on the Zeri to walk up a little bit more aggressively because you do have that ability to go over terrain, but definitely going to regret it when NIP are ready with the deep wards that they had placed, and you hit it. Breathe just burning down. Weighed the Paranoia up this whole time, but you can see not having a great way of utilizing it, and
we're going back in. The Equalizer is... Yeah, that's a huge shutdown there onto the Ahri. RNG not willing to let this one go without a fight. They get 2 kills. It's the jungler and the mid laner, and most importantly, it's the 8-1-6 Ahri no longer on the board. They should be able to get themselves up to Soul Point, and it's only about a 1,500 gold lead. This game isn't done just yet. NIP got themselves the Baron, but what can they do with it?
I just want to know what happened. What happened? You win a massive team fight. All, like, your members are huge. How did they end up going down? That's the replay we need.
But this is the replay we deserve.
Machine, give us the replay.
I'm sorry, I pressed the button. There you go. There's the replay.
Go. So NIP, no vision, posturing around bot side because Dragon's coming up, but they have no control. RNG clearly just pushed out the wave. And yeah, that one a little bit overzealous is... I love that Brave yeets out Shadow, and then it gives the other members an easy time focusing the squishy Ahri. But you saw there, right? RNG must have just pushed out bottom wave. They have control. They have full vision from that side. A little bit disrespectful from NIP to assume they could just walk in there, especially with only 2 members, right? If you bring Joa, I think it makes a little bit more sense, especially Photic. You have some DPS kind of in the vicinity.
Lila is probably dead here. Yep, they're going to make sure he can't get the blast cone. Doesn't have a flash. No way out. Beat his ass. Just the tank's beating his ass. That's all it is. And then they'll give it over to Angel, auto-attack him down and get the kill. Now they're going to try and dive onto bot side. They only used the one... Actually, they didn't even use any ultimates, I will say. And now Breed finds himself caught between a rock and a hard place. Does have a teleport, but there's plenty of CC here. While this is all happening, mid lane's being pushed in, so they will get 2 kills in trade. But what else can NIP do? Now RNG try to push in towards this mid lane. Angel is putting on threat here, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop this push right now. There's the Paranoia to try and come in and make this one work. There's the Spirit Rush out for a Paranoia, but it's all very scrappy. I think RNG are taking a page out of NIP's book and trying to keep it a little bit, a little fast and loose.
RNG completely outplaying them on the map right now. Kind of NIP outplaying themselves if you think about it, right? Committing so heavily towards that bot side. At least it ends up being 2 for NIP as well, but losing mid-inhib really can just put so much pressure, right? Because it goes back to the discussion we were having earlier, that one small misstep from NIP, like we just saw, RNG gonna be able to just break open an inhib, have all that pressure mid, and we're at the point, right, where Baron, very easily burnable for RNG. Dragon, something that RNG only need 1 more of to get sold, and we're at the point where we're thinking about Elder. yeah, just not a great sequence of events coming through.
No, not really. I think that NIP kind of maybe we're assuming that RNG would react to it. You know, I don't know. Maybe they were thinking that after the picks and such like that, just took them too long to try and burn them down. And Breed didn't lose anything. Didn't lose his flash. Didn't lose his ultimate or his teleport. So didn't really feel like he was kind of just the gold really to kind of into it. I will say, it does mean that you have a much longer lane now to try and defend against in that bot side. So we'll see if RNG can keep that one up afloat, as we have a 3,000 gold lead now for NIP at 27 minutes. Death cap for Invincible. Massive to make that known, because it means that he's going to burn everybody. There's nobody on the side of RNG now who's going to be able to stand up into that, you know, kind of flame spitter and just deal with the damage coming out here from the Rumble.
Yeah, I want to highlight that LP does have a Maw, so at least, you know, itemized well for both Angel and Invincible strength, but at the same time, Photic's at the 3-item mark too. So he's someone who's going to be putting out huge DPS. And Breathe, going to have to be careful, as he was kind of playing on a knife's edge with how far forward he was in that last exchange. But NIP know the name of the game. Get some vision down for Baron, since that one's going to be up in 40 seconds. You don't want to like end up in a situation where RNG feeling confident because they're on sole points. Lean towards that Baron.
Oh,
nice
it's a great equalizer right on top of everybody, so they can't go for a Breathe. He's getting engaged upon. That's for his teleport, potentially. We will see Shadow getting dragged back, but he's got a stopwatch. Will be feared after the fact that he doesn't have the tenacity to keep himself alive. It's a trade back of a mid laner for a jungler. And with Baron on the board, you feel like that's definitely more in favor of RNG. They know that the side of NIP can't go for that Baron yet.
What was it that initially stunned Tangyuan? Chua hit the hook, but it looked like he was already locked out. I don't know, maybe it was a charm or something holding him in place, or it was just the equalizer. You know, we'll get to see what it was soon, but beautiful decisiveness coming out from NIP to make sure that they're able to find that. Like you said, they do find a return kill on the Shadow, but I guess that's why it feels like NIP have been in control. It's just they're pretty much constantly the ones making the proactive step forward, whether good or bad.
For better or for worse, they are the ones going in to try and make things happen, but Baron now being controlled here by the side of RNG. It shouldn't be too difficult, though, for NIP to re-control this area, to take it back from the side of RNG, considering they have got that 2 turrets now down in that mid lane. This is the thing. The more turrets that go down, the less control you have around this area. And RNG are saying, you know, we'll go for this Baron if you want to try and take that Chem Dragon, because we're the ones on Soul, you're not.
Yeah, a lot of posturing back and forth for now. And again, all our carries have key summoners up. Flashes are there. Angel having the exhaust now with that unsealed spellbook, so I like that. Going to be able to try to deal with either way or LP, but Tangyuan trying to find a good flank angle.
As flash available, they have a ward, though. That ward is so critical to make sure they know where he's going. Now they know where he is. They know exactly what's going on. They're going to assume that's the Nico, because they've just been fighting with the Leona for the moment. Now the Baron has been started. Mid lane gets pushed in. This is the thing. If you do not secure this Baron here as a side of RNG, your waves are in such a terrible state. Tanguin, they're sniffing you out. They know roughly where you are. He's going to try and maybe look for it, but Lele's already gone down. The paranoia comes in. Oh no, he didn't get over the wall. He couldn't get over the wall. He was charmed, as Angel is the savior of NIP. RNG thought they had themselves the optimal fight, but they just couldn't make the landing stick. Huge shift of momentum back for NIP.
NIP just keep finding slight edges in these team fights. It would have been nice if they could take LP down. They're still going to try. LP, though, seems like he will be just fine. With LP still alive, Way still there, I think it makes it very hard for NIP to pivot onto a Baron. For now, I think you just go towards the Dragon. You know, you're a little chunked out. That one's a much safer objective to go for. And that's where it looks like NIP's attention will turn. So once again, slight edge in a team fight, 4K gold up. But that's all they need. Oh no. Oh no.
They have no vision. There's zero vision here for NIP. You didn't dot your I's. You didn't cross your T's. And now the Dragon was secure, but I don't think they have any idea. They have no idea. This is a straight-up daylight robbery now for the side. Now they do. Invincible does have an equalizer. You would imagine he's going to have to try and drop it down. The paranoia comes in. Wade taking so much damage. They don't really have anyone to really kind of tank this one up. Finally, Bree gets in here. Angel trying to look for it. There's the equalizer. Down! And it will be secured by LP. They will lose Way. Lele will flash over the wall to make sure he gets out with that one. I mean, that's straight up a great callback here for RNG.
right? Just the onus to make that call with the few members you had, knowing you have the time to be able to get that one down. NIP getting outplayed in that situation, it's not even on their mind, but at least finding an inhibitor turret here. I thought maybe they'd be more willing to just invest for the full-on inhibitor. Okay, they are going to do it. When Juan Invincible started to back off, I was scared because that could have been a window for RNG to engage, have numbers advantage, and then suddenly it's like RNG are back in the driver's seat.
I mean, here we go, trying to see if RNG can survive. This is your year. This is everything. You need to hold the line. You got Baron, but you're the ones losing inhibitors off the back of this. The equalizer's just back up as well. It shows you how short of a cooldown it's on. It looks like NIP are happy with just breaking open the base on 2 different lanes. They're going to reset, get themselves back out onto the map after the goal they just got.
Both these teams fighting for a date with Weibo, which, let's be honest, with how up and down Weibo are, if it's a good Weibo day, either of these teams should be crushed. But if it's a bad Weibo day, either of these teams can find a win over them. So I really feel like it is very doable for either one that comes out ahead just now. Obviously, NIP having more lives to work with, but we're at a point now, even with all the nerfs, where we've seen in these fights, like, this Seri has to be respected. I feel like the problem is, like, Tangyuan a lot of time finding great value way the same, and a lot of the time it's been shut down by people like Angel with the Charms. I even went back when we were in a lull state and checked what stunned Tangyuan out of the turret. It was actually just the edge of Shadow's Q that got him and set up for the hook. Oh. So Shadow, another person, like, finding those moments. It's things like that that are just really disrupting and making it so the Nico and Nocturne have no onus. And that's only compounded by the fact of, like, we have Zhonya's coming on through. We have a stopwatch on the Rumble.
Oh. They're trying to jump onto Shadow here. He will crash down over and get jumped on after the fact, so he's just going to be sacrificed out. It means very little right now. There's no Dragon, there's no Baron, there's no objective to take, but oh, Lele, what are you doing? Why would you walk in like that? And that means you're back to a 4v4.
Lola gets a pass, hasn't played competitive League of Legends in months. Shadow gets less of a pass, but you know what? He's 19 assists. Man's trying to do his job. But you're right, these kills not really turning into anything tangible on the map for either squad. Obviously, we can see kind of fighting for vision right now, but once recalls come out and both teams, you know, get back on the map, that's where the real fight for reclaiming some of this vision is going to take place. And it feels like the next step is going to be back towards that bot side, with Dragon coming up in a minute 40, Baron still nowhere close to being up. RNG, even if it isn't the most worthwhile soul to have, I mean, getting yourself there and inching us closer to an Elder probably is the name of the game.
I think the big thing for me when it comes to Chem Soul or anything like that is specifically when you stack the passive on it when you're getting those dragons individually. Having that extra tenacity into things like a Nautilus, a Rel, a Charm from the Ahri, those things are invaluable. You just, you know, it means that someone like the LP might not have to use his cleanse straight away, might have just enough time out of that CC to try and move himself out, dash away, and then, you know, keep putting in the DPS. So that's where I see the huge value coming out from the Chem Tech as we get later and later into the game, and one stun, as we saw with Tangyuan, can literally mean your life.
100% right, and a lot of CC on both sides, so like you just pointed out, not only for NIP, but even RNG, Breathe, Way. I mean, the Tangle Barbs from Tangyuan, Lola with his whole kit. So that one really can be meaningful, as either one can end up stacking 3 of these Chemtechs. For now, it's still NIP a little bit on the front foot, just from the fact that they are overloading this mid lane, controlling, but I want to point out the vision control that RNG have behind them. Breathe does have TP, so at any moment, a Cassante can come right behind you and just yeet someone like a Rumble into his own team.
We're basically looking at full items for the AD carries, nearly full items for the mid laner of NIP as well. Tangyuan really would love to have that Rabadon's death cap, but thing is, for RNG, you can let this go. You don't have to fight this. You're the ones with 3 dragons. You can let this one go off, and you're not worried about it whatsoever. So we can see now NIP just controlling more of this area. We have still got Breathe split pushing on that side. And it looks like NIP are the ones that are going to start this one off, and it looks like RNG are happy to let this one go. They're happy to let the scaling come in as a TP comes in, and ooh, this is a spicy one here from RNG, just making sure they get this guaranteed turret, so great trade.
RNG just keep finding ways to minimize this gold lead. I think at one point we almost got up to 5K for NIP, but now we're just back down to a 3. So finding some of it back, but now both teams on Soul Point. And isn't it, you know, as excited as I am, we're just at the push and pull of Dragon spawns, we go around Dragon, Baron spawns, we go around Baron, right? So time for Baron control to come through with Sheen. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna push mid lane waves, and after we push those mid lane waves, you know where we go next? Into river, clearing out flank wards behind us. So Breathe can't find a huge TP flank. Then we walk a little bit into the enemy jungle, not too far because it's not safe. Get some shallow vision to spot them out when they are walking in, and then ooh, look for Dua, breaking the game plan a little bit. We like that. Spicy.
Why am I here? You know, you can do everything yourself. You just do the whole.
We all
cast
know
by
what
yourself.
to expect, Sheen. This can do itself.
Oh, did you expect Breed to get burnt down to a crisp?
No,
and then
I
LP losing all his summoners off of a second? Is that what you expected to see? Because NIP are not going to your script right now, Lyric. They want their own. They want to come out with the advantage, and they want to come out with the win.
I did not expect that damage to take down Breathe right away. I don't think Breathe expected that damage to absolutely incinerate him. Now you don't even have a paranoia his way. You have Flash. You can look for a Splash Mine. He does it!
Screw your scripts. Screw your advantages. Way backs himself. He gets revenge on Shadow by getting the Baron steal, but these death timers are massive. So big, and you do not have a lot of real estate to try and work with here as RNG.
NIP need to go for the end, in my opinion. You don't want to keep letting this go on. Let this game drag out. Like you're saying, Breathe will be up soon, and honestly, RNG might have the power to defend. But wait, still 30 seconds. You'll at least get 2 inhibitors back.
Oh, they'll get 2 inhibitors at minimum. You can see there, LP with no summoners has to play so defensively. That's going to be 2 inhibs down now. Again, with Baron, it's going to be Angel looking for something. The Equalizer doesn't really hit onto anybody, but they've got Lila. That's going to be a 3v5, but the Pop Blossom is good. That's the 2 tanks down now. You can see Fota trying to see if he can go in on top of this one here, but Breed goes a little bit too far forward. Tanguin goes golden. It's all on LP. He has to be the carry. 1v3, can he do it? He's got the health bar. He's got the damage. The paranoia is good. It's going to be a jump straight in. They've separated the targets because they know they can kill them off. And somehow, some way, RNG are still alive!
And I don't know how RNG hold on, but I know one of the ways, Shane, is Invincible being so liberal with that Equalizer. Like, you guys might be so far ahead, you might have a slight numbers advantage, but you cannot just be dropping that one on the support. It is such a critical cooldown in a team fight. And it feels like things like that is what allows RNG to then run forward and take the fight. We're going to see here Angel wanting to go in, wanting to take advantage of them having numbers advantage, but Charm into Equalizer only connecting onto Lila. Those are some massive cooldowns being used. Opens up for the Tango Barbs to come out and Tanguin find the return kill. And great job coming out here from Photic to be able to survive with this flash over the wall. But again, LP's huge. We're late game 80 carries. It doesn't matter which 80 carry you have. You're going to be dishing out tons of DPS. And it bought enough time for Nocturne to come up, the Paranoia be online, and then find another kill. And I really feel like it was them just being too overzealous with cooldowns like Spirit Rush and Equalizer, when these are the key tools to being able to take out people like LP or Tangyuan.
He didn't kill LP, he does nearly 9,000 damage in a team fight. That's the difference maker in a lot of these situations. And look, we come back in. We're starting to tick up a little bit more. Full items being pretty much finished up for everybody. We're struggling to see where the wards are going to come in. Even supports are starting to get in on it. We actually have 2 Abyssal Masks coming out here for NIP. One on Zhuo, one on Shadow. So it is a great defense from RNG. It is great to see them kind of bring this game to 41 minutes. And we still haven't gotten a soul, by the way. However, their base is in ruins. They don't really have the luxury of just waiting for this next team fight. I feel like even if they wait for 2 minutes 50 with the Baron, maybe they could go for something, but I mean, it's hard. Honestly, I think RNG just wait until the inhibitors respawn and try and fight over Baron. I think that's the play.
I mean, we're at a point, though. Like, sure, RNG's inhibitors might be down, but look at NIP's base. Like, they have inhibitors up, but it's also down. So this next fight should decide the
It's
game.
actually only a tower in the difference. I just completely missed that. Well, here we go, Lyric. This could be it. The last 5v5. Are RNG keeping themselves alive, or will NIP be moving on? Here we go. They're going to try and jump in. The dragon is secured by the side of NIP. Stolen away. They've killed off Lilith, and Wei is in the back of the pit. He doesn't have flash, and he has no way home. Double kill coming in here now for Photic.
What is this?
We're looking at Tanyuan. We're looking for LP. Angel jumping over, trying to find if he can see catch LP out, who cleanses, tries to keep the CC off him. He goes into GA. The pop blossom only lands on one of the tanks. They both go golden. They're using as much of the time delay as they possibly can as LP stays alive, and it's putting in some serious work on the Photic. Breathe on the side of this one here. They're looking for an end. Oh, LP! He got some on the tank, and Breed's still going! They were able to take out the carries, but the minions are being taken out because Invincible is ending the game! Invincible is done with this! NIP will be progressing! RNG was valiant, but it was not enough!
What an insane way for the game to end. Honestly, to me, when the smite went through for Shadow, it looked like RNG gave up. It literally looked like RNG gave up. I'm like, why? Okay, Dragon's gone, but why are we not running forward? Why are we at least not like trying to flip this into a fight? Then Breathe trying to bring some heroics. We see the same thing coming from LP, where again on the Zeri, like full build, you have a lot of power there, but Invincible on the sneak spy mission of a century. 3-1ing RNG, their very first playoffs. Angel, the happiest day of his life for a second time. He gets 2 happiest days of his life. Hell, he might get a 3rd because he gets to play Weibo again just in a few days. Like, what a way to end the game. What a day, what a result.
I mean, lost for words. NIP smiles because they know how close that one went. 40+ minutes, dead even right until the end. And like you said, Shadow, honestly, it feels like that Chemsoul, I say this unironically, was actually a huge factor in the fact that